James M. Stewart Stadium, as it is a matinee game here as the Hofstra ranked University of Southern California Trojans for a game that is sure to be an exciting one as the Pride look back to move back to 500 on this young season. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jack McCarthy, joined alongside by, and I'm going to say it, it's Jack with Jack. It's going to be Jack Sargent, my color analyst, and good friend Jack. A little bit overcast today. It's a balmy 41 degrees as we're getting close to opening draw control, but what can we expect to see from this Hofstra Pride and Southern California duel?
Well, it's great to be with you here today, Jack, and I think that the biggest thing for Hofstra that I think we're going to see from them is they've been in so many of their games as of late for the vast majority of the games. You go back to two games back to when they faced Army. They were in front for portions of that game, and they had late leads in that game, and then also in the Marist game back on March 1st. So I think you're going to see Hofstra stick around with USC for a while and be with them throughout this, because that's pretty much, you take away one game, that's pretty much where they've been throughout the season that they've had.
Well, you talk about that Army game they had to stay in, and they were in for a majority of. Game that they did not have to be in for the majority of was their last game against Wagner. We'll take you through the box score right here. Very easy for the first 10 goals of the game. All were scored by the Hofstra Pride before Wagner was finally able to get their first one on the board late in the third quarter. However, Hofstra responded with 3 goals from Carrie Walzer, Taylor Manella, and Megan Flannery before Wagner got their second, as Hofstra finished out with 2 goals of their own from Katie Kelly and Jackie Gaddy, as they took home a 5-2 victory on the road against Wagner, as they moved to 3-4 on the season. But as we said, as you said there, Jack, they've been close in every single game. They're currently at that 3-4 overall record. Their losses have come against Brown, Fairfield, Marist, and Army. That win against Wagner snapped that 4-game losing streak. But as you said, all games have been close if you take away that Fairfield game, which of course was a 7-5 loss. Marist, they had a late lead. Brown, they had a late lead. Army, they had a late lead. That has been the biggest thing for this Hofstra Pride team early in the season, has been that late lead, but they just have not been able to really close the door yet.
And I'll say one thing about that last game against Wagner. I think it was really important for them because, as we talked about in this pregame, they have been close in a lot of those games, and they haven't been able to seal the deal against Marist and against Army. And I think that was very important for them to not only obviously seal the job there, but you also saw a lot of other players produce in that game. You had Carrie Walzer put up 4, Rachel Graff had 3, and then also Taylor Manella had 3. And I think it's going to be very important to get some of those other players, and I think you'll mention the update with Nikki Manella in this game, but I think outside of Taylor Manella, it's going to be important to get some of those other players on the board and scoring if they're going to have success in this game.
So you took the words right out of my mouth. That is important to see that Wagner game, especially at a 15-2 score, especially seeing that Nikki Manella was not playing in that game. Official word from the coaching staff is that she's banged up, will not be participating in today's game. So that is as far as updates as we have for the freshman superstar for this Pride team. But as you said, a bevy of scoring that they had against Wagner. That's the most important thing, especially when we've seen at times a player like Nikki Manella takes half the team's shots, and when she combines with Carrie Walzer, that's like 3/4 of the team's shots on a lot of their games. It's good to see that they are able to get more of a balanced scoring output, and it's going to be needed, especially against a team like USC, who has done a great job on the defensive side of the ball. As we look at their schedule, they lost big to Boston College by a score of 3-14, but they kept teams like San Diego State, High Point, Villanova all under 10 goals. Ohio State they beat, they kept them to 10 goals, and their most recent loss came against 16th ranked Princeton, but that was a close game at 8-11. So if you're Hofstra, you know that at times you've had struggles with offense, and you're going to go against a team that has been playing some very stout defensive games, but also have a very well-balanced, well-acclimated scoring.
And you brought up that USC has held, since the Boston College game, has held their opponents to 10 goals or less, and you have 3 straight winning efforts for them where they've held them, where they've held opponents to single digits, the San Diego State, High Point, and Villanova games. And one thing that I will say about the Hofstra Pride is they have held, aside from the Fairfield game, they've held every single opponent they've played this year under 15 goals. So, you know, you have a USC team that has scored, that scored in those 3 wins that I mentioned against San Diego State, High Point, and Villanova. They scored double digits in those 3 games, and then also 18 against Ohio State. So that's obviously something that's encouraging, especially with a team that has had some goalkeeper turnover with them, that they still have been able to hold teams to under that 15-goal margin.
You talk about that goaltending change. Luciana Cardello is going to start again for the Hofstra Pride this afternoon. She got her first win of her collegiate career just earlier this week against Wagner. And in the time she's played, she's looked well beyond her years.
Yes, and I think, and we'll go back to that Wagner game, that was obviously, I think, very big to see her turn away as many shots as she did. It was very close to a shutout. She did only let 2 goals by, so certainly, you know, she's gone all 60 in the last 2 games. And my biggest point about that Wagner game last time is I think it was very important for them to really get momentum coming into this after they played close, but they did lose those 4 straight games after beating Vanderbilt on February 18th. So I think that that's really important. That's something that I've been saying. I was saying to you beforehand, and what I've been talking about in this pregame. I think it's very important that they got that victory last time out, and it was very comfortable, and they were able to get production from a lot of other players in there.
And for both teams, you say it's important to get the production, important to get the momentum back on their side. For the Pride and for the Trojans, this is going to be their last game before they start their conference. Granted, Hofstra is going to sprinkle in that Connecticut game after they start their first 2 CAA games against Towson and William and Mary, respectively. But if you're USC, you're going into that Pac-12. You open up against Colorado or Arizona State, then Colorado. It's going to be tough. But we're going to go 2 starting lineups. But first, we will have the national anthem here at James M. Stewart Stadium. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise, remove your caps, and join us as we honor America and those who protect it with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome you back into our press box here at James M. Stewart Stadium as we get you closer to opening draw control between the Hofstra Pride and the University of Southern California Trojans. Once again, the Trojans are coming into this game ranked 20th in the nation. The Hofstra Pride are currently unranked and not receiving votes. We will go to the starting lineups for both teams. First, for the visiting Trojan, they will have Isabel Vitale, Shelby Tilton, Catherine Lord, Ella Henley, Alexis Nieblock, Katie Ramsey, Maggie Brown, Claudia Schwitz, Danielle Carson, Emma Whiteman, and Olivia Dooley with their starting goalie, Kate Dever. So who are the keys to the game and key players for this Trojans team that they want to get back in the winning column before they start their Pac-12 schedule?
So the thing that I was looking at with USC before this is Shelby Tilton hasn't scored in her last 2 games, but she had multiple goals in 3 of the previous 4 before that, and she had 2 of the 3 goals in the Boston College game. So I think USC is going to want to see production from her, and then obviously Maggie Brown, who isn't starting, but Maggie Brown is their leading scorer. So obviously her production is going to be critical for them in this game.
And for the Hofstra Pride, their starters will be Kayla Robertson, Lauren Coletti, Jackie Gaddy, Carrie Walzer, Rachel Graff, Bryn Hepting, Taylor Manella, Megan Flannery, Kendall Smith, Trinity Reed, Courtney Carollo, and starting in goal will be the freshman coming off her first career collegiate win, Luciana Cardello, and same thing for the Hofstra Pride, key player and key to the game, Jack.
I think Katie Kelly and Carrie Walzer are my 2 keys for this game. I talked about it in the pregame. They need to branch out the scoring a little bit more from Taylor Manella, who obviously had 3 in the last game, but I think it's really important for the Pride to get more players involved. That was their key to success when they beat Vanderbilt. There was other involvement outside of Nikki Manella, and especially now with Nikki Manella not being in this game, that becomes even more critical.
The Hofstra Pride have taken the field. We are waiting for USC to join them. They're still in their huddle as they slowly break. Hofstra is in their white home jerseys with gold trim and blue lettering and numbering, as well as white shorts. And they will be moving from right to left on your radio dial, television screen, computer screen, whatever you are watching or listening to us on. And the USC Trojans will be moving from left to right across your radio dial or anything you are watching or listening on. They are in the iconic USC maroon and gold colorway. They have maroon jerseys on with gold lettering and numbering and the same maroon pants. Some players have black undershirts and leggings. For the Hofstra Pride, white undershirts and white leggings if need be. Again, it is a balmy day here in Hempstead. Happy daylight savings time to everyone, as the temperature at draw control will be 44 degrees as a ref whistle will blow, and Hofstra will win it back, but a tripping player there for the Pride is Carrie Walzer, and it'll get taken back the other way by the Trojans as they have the first offensive possession of the afternoon as it goes back behind the net to Ella Haney.
And USC moving the ball around in front of the goal, they're really really passing the ball around and trying to get stuff moving, which is obviously something that they would want to see at this point in the game. Vitale
back with it behind the net. She will send it across that far side alley where it goes to the waiting Katie Ramsey. Ramsey cutting towards the net, shot just wide there as she was falling. Good attempt there, but it does not go on net. First shot of the game, but it will squirt just wide of Luciana Cardello.
And that was really strong defense in there you mentioned she was going down, but to force the shot to go wide, that you're obviously going to want to see more from that from Hofstra so that you're not putting everything on the goalkeeper in that situation.
Trojans still with it, 40 seconds on the shot clock. Shot and score! It is 1-0. Claudia Schwitz with it for the Trojans. 14 minutes, 2 seconds left to play in the first quarter, and we have our first lead of the game, 1-0 USC.
And Claudia Schwitz has had a pair of goals in her last 2. Opens the scoring here, and we talked about that in the last play, the shot that went wide. USC had an angle to the goal there, and the Pride just weren't able to get someone in front of her, and that's obviously something that you'll want to see them improve if they're going to be able to contest shots and force them to go wide like on that earlier shot.
So back for the draw control for Hofstra. It's going to be Courtney Carollo going against Katie Ramsey, one of the captains for this Trojans team. Our referees are going to be John Trotta, Joel Stein, and Kim Kramer as we await the start of play once again, as it's still going to be Ramsey going against Carollo. As it's one up in the air, jumping for it is Walzer, can't get on the end of it, and now we have back-to-back offensive possessions for the Trojans as that ground ball in draw control was won by Catherine Lord as it goes back behind the net or it'll be settled down on the stick of Ella Haney.
USC's really been getting a lot going in front of the crease and being able to pass the ball around, and that's something that they did really in those first 3 shots. I don't want to say with impunity, but they've been able to get things set up a lot, and that's obviously something that has led to the success of getting the first 2 shots in this possession.
Haney with it. She takes it into that 8-meter arc, but she's unable to do anything with it, so it gets passed out to Katie Ramsey, where it now sits on the far side with Maddie Dora. Dora cutting across the middle. She sends one over to a teammate in Tilton. Tilton going against a defender there. She gets pushed off. She's cutting towards the net. She makes the defender fall, and Hofstra's going to get it as she was going one-on-one there with Trinity Reed of the Pride. As Reed just gets pushed over, Hofstra's going to take it back the other way as Kayla Robertson now has it. She plays pitch and catch with her defensive teammate in Trinity Reed.
Defensive penalty there, and it's turned over by Hofstra.
Isabel Vitale with it. She's going to cut one into the middle to Haney. Haney cutting, trying to find something. She has nothing. She'll spin around, send it out to Tilton, as Tilton will slow it, and she sends it out as it goes up top there to Katie Ramsey. So Ramsey will slow it down. She passes down low to Tilton. Tilton with a shot. It goes wide. Picked up there by Robertson as Hofstra will take it back the other way.
And that was an example of them contesting the shot in front of the goal, and it's turned over again by the Pride.
That's the second blown clearing attempt of the early game here for the Hofstra Pride, as Kayla Robertson was just unable to cradle it cleanly. And now USC showing why they're the 20th ranked team in the nation, as we're going to have a free position shot here for USC. So the first free position attempt for either team, as it'll be Shelby Tilton taking it for the Trojans.
And for Hofstra, you really would hope to not see them turn the ball over in those 2 situations. And obviously a free possession shot here. USC is going to try to take advantage of that mistake by Hofstra here.
So Tilton waiting for the official start. She goes in, shoots it well over the net where it gets blocked down behind by Carrie Walzer. It's going to go out of bounds off Walzer, so it'll remain with the Trojans, as picking it up will be Vitale.
A good break for Hofstra there. It looked like that Tilton had a clear angle on the goal, but the shot was just well over the goal.
Schvitz with it now for the Trojans. She sends it to Vitale, as Vitale looking for a teammate, takes it back behind the net where she sends it to Haney. Haney shuffling, cutting to her right, doesn't have anything towards the net. Good defensive presence there by Robertson, sends it up top to Ramsey. Ramsey cuts in, but she has nothing, so she'll send it over to Haney. Haney directing traffic back behind the net as it makes its way up top to number 5 there. That's Shelby Tilton as she plays pitch and catch with Isabel Vitale. Vitale sends one in the middle, and it does not get received, as that was a great cutting attempt, but no one can get on the end of it. It's going to go out of bounds. It'll remain Hofstra. Good job by Luciana Cardella to get out of her net, and even better job there by Carrie Walzer to play a very intimidating role as that ball goes out of bounds. Hofstra takes it back the other way, looking for their first clearing attempt of the afternoon.
And that was a very scary loose ball there for Hofstra. It was kind of bouncing around, but they were able to, the ball went out of bounds, and they were able to have possession of it there. Now they're on the other end of the field at the moment.
Hofstra with their first offensive possession of the game here, as it goes to Taylor Manella, who sends it up top to Carrie Walzer. Walzer sends it to a teammate in Megan Flannery as Hofstra starts their passing attack.
And Hofstra getting a lot going. They're passing the ball around, but they're able to get stuff going in front of the crease, and it looks like they're trying to find an opening right here to even the score with USC.
Flannery with it. She's going to send it over to a teammate there in Katie Kelly, as Hofstra says on the near side. Back up top to Katie Kelly off a pass from Lauren Coletti. As Hofstra has it with Walzer now. Walzer sends one in the middle. No one's able to get on the end of it cleanly, as Katie Kelly had it, but she just couldn't get a shot. She's going to lose it. Good defensive pressure there, as Walzer will pick up the ground ball and send it over to Manella. Manella up top to Kelly. Kelly sends it over to Flannery. Flannery to Manella. Manella cutting into the middle. She has no shot, and she's going to lose it, as that gets picked up easily there by Kate Dever.
That was very strong defense there by USC. Taylor Manella had an angle at the goal, but they just did a very good job of depriving that and forcing the turnover.
USC is back on offense here as it goes back behind the net to awaiting Ella Haney. Haney with it now goes to Selene Murphy. Murphy cutting around on the near side as she sends it up top to awaiting Maddie Dora. Dora getting to that 8-meter fan. She can't get anything as she will go back behind the net to waiting Maggie Brown. Maggie Brown over the side to Vitale. Vitale cutting towards the middle. She has a lane, but she's getting harassed there by Hepting. Shot and a save by Luciana Cardello as she puts that one right into that big waiting stick. Cleaning out the rebound. She sends it over to Hepting, who takes on the far side there. She's looking for the clearing attempt, but she has nothing, so she'll send it back to her teammate in number 31, Kendall Smith, who's still getting harassed. As the refs will blow, Hofstra will get an easier clear there as it goes over that midfield line with Emmy Wygand.
That was a huge save by Luciana Cardello. Maggie Brown had beaten the defender there in that situation, and it was a one-on-one situation sort of there, and Luciana Cardello was able to deprive the goal there. Potential goal, I should say.
Katie Kelly with it, sends it over to Coletti. Coletti cutting into the middle, but she has nothing, so she's going to back out, but is getting harassed there by two defenders for the Trojans. She'll send one to Manella. Manella cutting toward the middle. A shot, and it could have been a free position attempt as Rachel Graff was knocked down, but a easy save for USC and Kate Dever.
That's another instance there. It happened on the Manella shot. USC deprived the opportunity. It was a very strong look. It looked like that Hofstra was getting a run at the goal, and USC at the last moment was able to turn that situation off.
Dever's first save of the game. That's Hofstra's first shot total of the game, as it's now in the defensive zone with Ella Haney. Haney takes it back behind the net, and she'll send it to the far side where it goes up top to Selene Murphy. Murphy on the middle to Maddie Dora, as Dora goes over to Krista Gagnon. Gagnon looking for an angle to the net, but she's going to have to go back to Isabel Vitale. As USC very patient with their passing attack so far, as Haney now has it on the far side. Sends it over to Dora. Dora over to Murphy. A wrestle will blow, and Coach Smith is exasperated on the sideline. It's going to be another free position attempt here, be taken by Selene Murphy.
And I will say, on the setups down there, Ella Haney is doing a good job of providing opportunities and finding open players for USC as this free possession shot is about to go.
Selene Murphy will be the taker. She's going one-on-one with Cardello. Runs in, shots, another one that goes over the net. Good stick checks there by the Hofstra Pride. Is getting in on the action was Trinity Reed as well as Kendall Smith as that shot goes well over the net. Still, USC has the ball as it's now with Shelby Tilton. Tilton sends it back by the net to Vitale. Vitale goes near to Maggie Brown. Brown has plenty of space to cut towards the net. She's going to go to her right, takes a shot, and it's saved there by Cardello, who doesn't know where it is, but it's going to go on the side of the net. Hofstra has another save from their freshman.
And another really strong save from Luciana Cardello. It looked like Maggie Brown was once again going to beat one of the Hofstra defenders, and Luciana Cardello wasn't quite as one-on-one as the earlier attempt by Maggie Brown was, but a great job to force the shot wide there.
Gaddy takes it over the restricted line for the Pride as she'll send an easy pass over to Wygand. Hofstra, this is their third offensive possession of this game. There are 6 minutes, 41 seconds left to play in this first quarter. It's still 1-0 USC as a pass is sent there to Emily Wygand. She can't catch it as the able out of her crease there is Kate Dever. Johnny on the spot to pick that one up.
It looked like a really promising opportunity there, and unfortunately things just happened a little bit too quickly for Hofstra, and they weren't able to convert on there.
We have our first blown clear attempt from USC as they are now 2 for 3 on the afternoon as they missed that pass. So Hofstra's going to take it back the other way with Trinity Reed, who gets it over that midfield line. She's going to send a pass over to Katie Kelly as Kelly will on the near side alley as she stands at the O of that Hofstra logo, and she'll send it to Carrie Walzer. Walzer goes across the field there to Megan Flannery. Hofstra still looking for their first goal. 70 seconds on the shot clock, 5:50 left on the game clock as it's back behind the net with one of the team's captains in Taylor Manella. Manella sends one out top to Flannery, who can't catch it cleanly, but she's going to pick up the ground ball and button hook out and send one to Walzer. Walzer nearly has her pocket picked there by Catherine Lord as she has a pass go well out of bounds. She was looking for Rachel Graff, and Hofstra's passing has not been crisp so far in this one. They still have one total shot on goal.
And it looked like a really strong, a really promising opening there, and unfortunately the Hofstra just couldn't find the pass there.
USC is going to take it back. It's with their goalie right now in Kate Dever, as Dever will send it to near the midfield line where she finds a waiting Katie Ramsey, as USC with some quick passing finds its way to Maddie Dora. Dora on the near side here to Maggie Brown. Brown going back behind the net where it goes to Vitale. On that far side alley now with the Trojans, it goes up top to Claudia Schwitz. And as Schwitz has the only goal for either team in this one as she gets it back. She's going one-on-one with Jackie Gaddy, but she can't find anything, so she's forced to go to Haney. Haney cuts back from behind the net. She goes up top. She has nothing. She had a chance to button hook away, but she will send one over to Maddie Dora. Dora cutting towards the net, doesn't have a shot. Good job there by Kayla Robertson on the defensive side, and she sends one back to Vitale. Vitale trying to slot one home. She spins and then shoots one well wide, but it will retain with USC. 30 seconds left on the shot clock, and it'll run despite that ref telling Ella Haney to settle down.
And that was a really strong defensive stand there. Hofstra was able to deprive the opportunity earlier down in front of the net as USC scores another one.
A pass in the middle there is scored by Maddie Dora as she slots that one home over Luciana Cardello, able to get a cutting player. It's now 2-0 in favor of the Trojans. 4 minutes, 14 seconds left to play in this first quarter.
And unfortunately for Hofstra, USC has been getting a lot of looks down in front of the goal. And at some point, those opportunities, there's going to be an opening. And really, Hofstra has done a good job on defense, but that's just an example of one of those. At some point when a team is getting that many looks down in front of the goal, at some point something is going to go through.
That's Dora's third goal of the season. It was assisted by Shelby Tilton. That was also her third assist of the season. And right now, 9 total shots for USC. 5 of them have gone on goal. And that is a stark contrast to the Hofstra Pride, who have 1 total shot with it going on goal. And it was not anything really threatening as that pass into Rachel Graff as she was getting knocked down, just hit off her stick and went into the waiting stick of Kate Dever. So we go back for another draw control. Hofstra has yet to win one of those as well, as they still are going with Katie Ramsey going up against Courtney Carollo. So we wait for the refs' officials to go ahead, as Hofstra desperately needs to have a solid offensive possession down by 2 in this one. It's one back towards that Hofstra defensive end. It's getting to the restricted line, and no one can pick it up as it nearly was taken away by Bryn Hepting, but USC will take it. They will start up yet another offensive possession. That is a huge win for this USC team, and it forces a timeout. No, just a foul off the ball, so it will stay with USC. So no timeout for the Hofstra Pride, as we have 4 minutes left to play in this first quarter.
And with Hofstra there, they allowed another face-off to go to USC, and that's obviously something that you're going to want to see them improve on, as their face-off percentage has not been very strong in this game, and USC has really been dominating in terms of time of possession and getting the opportunities to have looks in front of the goal.
So we await the official start for this back up after that face-off and foul, as it'll be Isabel Vitale starting up for the Trojans. So still waiting for that official start, and we look at the stats. It's 3-0 in favor of USC for draw controls. Fouls are 2-1 in favor of Hofstra, depending on how you look at it. Both teams are 3 for 4 on their clearings, as Hofstra has 5 total turnovers early in this one, and only 2 of them have been caused by USC. So pass back behind the net to awaiting Isabel Vitale, and she sends it up top to Claudia Schwitz. Schwitz was the only goal scorer up until that last goal scored by Dora. She plays pitch and catch with Shelby Tilton, as Tilton trying to find something, but she is nothing, as she will send it up top to a waiting Maddie Brown.
And the defense has been strong for Hofstra once again on this look, and it's just and another goal scored there by USC.
The flag was going to fly as Katie Ramsey cuts into the middle there as she gets a shot on Luciana Cardello. It's now 3-0 in favor of the Trojans. 3 minutes, 11 seconds left to play in this first quarter.
And that was, Hofstra had good defense on that. Unfortunately, on the reset, USC was able to find the open player there and put the ball in for their 3rd goal of the game.
And for Hofstra right now, it's the first goal of the game, or of the season, for Katie Ramsey. But for Hofstra, it needs to start at the draw control. It needs to start with Courtney Carollo and the Hofstra Pride, as they have yet to win one and they have yet to look strong on offense, as they just have not had their opportunities. And this is big when we look at talking about Hofstra wanting to keep this thing as close as possible as we get down the stretch, because you have to make sure you're in this game against the 20th ranked team in the nation. But if they can't win draw controls, it's going to be a very long day for them on the defensive side, as they just will not have the energy to compete come second half.
And as we wait for the draw control, echoing what Jack said there on the draw control, that's really critical for them as Hofstra looks to initially have won a draw control, but USC will retain possession and go have another attempt on offense.
Just unable to pick up those ground balls as a pass sent to Vitale nearly had her jumping out of her shoes for it. She's able to settle it down as now the Trojan offense gets back to work once again. They have had the bulk of offensive possession in this first quarter as Ramsey has it as she plays pitch and catch with Dora as Dora will pass over to Tilton. Tilton sends it back behind the net to a waiting Ella Haney. And it's now with Vitale. Vitale cutting towards the middle, has a shot. Good save there by Cardello as the flag went up for a free position attempt, but that shot got off, so we will not have anything as Hofstra takes it back the other way very quickly with Trinity Reed. She takes over that midfield line. Trinity Reed looking for a teammate to pass to as she cuts away, and she will finally send one to an offensive player in Rachel Graff, who then goes behind the net to Taylor Manella. Manella on the near side of Katie Kelly as Hofstra is starting their perimeter passing attack here, looking for some sort of cut. We've seen that so far in this one as it goes to the far side in Rachel Graff, who then passes to Megan Flannery. Flannery,
2 minutes remaining.
One-on-one with the defender there. She sends one up top to Carrie Walzer. Walzer to the near side where it goes back behind the net to Manella. Manella, pass up top there, shot, and ace just goes wide as Lauren Coletti got that pass from Rachel Graff. So it'll be picked up by Manella, who's told to go back to her spot. 40 seconds on the shot clock. 1 minute, 40 seconds left on the game clock. Manella will start it back up for the Hofstra Pride as she goes one-on-one with the defender there, and then Alexis knee block.
And I think Coletti was able to get the shot off there, and I think that's important for Hofstra, even though it wasn't a successful shot. I think just for them to be able to get a look on goal is important for them as they're beginning to reset on this right in front of the goal after penalty.
So sent out front, and the intended target there was Katie Kelly, but no one can get to it before it immediately is picked up by knee block, who spins it around and sends it over to her goalie in Dever. So Dever will pass it over to number 27 for this Trojans team, and that's Danielle Carson, another captain for USC. Carson trying to get over that midfield line. Her only impediment is Lauren Coletti, so she will pass it, and another pass will go wide, so it will be back with the Hofstra Pride as Bryn Hepting finally gets that ground ball. She'll send it over to Kayla Robertson as Robertson goes for a long aerial pass there, and she gets Kendall Smith on the end of it.
And a badly needed turnover for the Hofstra Pride to be able to try to get something going with 30 seconds left in this game as Megan Flannery gets knocked down there right past the half field line.
Flannery gets knocked down, leads to a foul there. Hofstra will take it across that restricted line where it makes it over to Rachel Graff. Graff sends one over to Carrie Walzer, who stands in the middle. Hofstra finding their passing game right now as it goes to Lauren Coletti on the near side. She sends one up top to Katie Kelly. Kelly to Walzer, over to Manella. Manella getting pushed around, and she sends one over to Walzer, who's standing there. So no call as that ball is sent across, and that'll do it for the first quarter of play between the Hofstra Pride and the USC Trojans. And the Trojans have raced out to a 3-0 lead through this first quarter. We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we'll have second quarter action between Hofstra and USC. You're listening to Hofstra Pride Women's Lacrosse, presented by 88.7 FM WRHU and Flow Sports. Welcome back to James M. Stewart Stadium as through one quarter of play, it has been all USC. They have had pretty much all of the offensive action as they have total 11 shots. 7 of them have gone on goal. Hofstra on the other end, 2 shots, 1 on goal, and that shot came, I would say, around midway through the first quarter, Jack, as it's just been a USC team that is proving why they are 20th ranked and why they should be a little bit higher than 20.
Here's the positive thing about Hofstra, if we're going to look at that. Right towards the end of the first quarter, they were getting a couple of strong looks down in front of the goal, so I think that's obviously important for them to end off the first quarter on a positive note there.
See, Hofstra did look a lot stronger on offense as that quarter wore on. However, they're not getting shots on goal, which is something they desperately need. They have not really tested the goalie for the Trojans and Kate Dever. That one shot was just a very weak one that didn't really have any teeth to it. In this quarter, Hofstra will be moving from left to right on whatever you are watching or listening to us on, as USC will be moving from right to left. Hofstra in their home white jerseys with blue lettering and numbering, as the Trojans are in their away maroon jersey with gold lettering and numbering, as that draw control is one back. No one can get on the end of it. However, it will go out of bounds. Hofstra is going to get possession there as they look to start up and continue their offensive pressure that they've had.
And obviously, Hofstra didn't win the draw control there, but you'll take any opportunity for them to get possession.
So Hofstra has it right now, goes up top to Carrie Walzer, who sells it down and directs traffic before she sends it over to Megan Flannery. Flannery to Lauren Coletti. Hofstra playing very slow, methodical so far, just a few seconds into this offensive possession. Still on the far side, as a falling away pass is sent to Katie Kelly, as it was sent by Jackie Gaddy. Gaddy back to Kelly, a pass there to Flannery, who can't get on the end of it. Still fighting for the ground ball. It's going to go out of bounds. It should stay with Hofstra, and it does. Good job by Lauren Coletti to play spoiler, as Alexis Nieblock picked that ground ball up, but then lost it due to the pressure. So Hofstra still has it right now. It's with Rachel Graff. Graff taking it, and she sends it to Manella. Manella over to Carrie Walzer. Walzer back to Graff, as Graff will have Walzer and sends it over. Walzer has a wide open Jackie Gaddy cutting, who then spins off and sends it over to Katie Kelly. Kelly up top to Graff. Graff to Manella. Manella has a lane but can't take it. She spins off. Loves that spin move. Shot and great save there. Trying to shovel it home is Manella. And there's a pile up in front of the net, as it was saved by Kate Dever. And Hofstra just unable to scoop that one home, as there was a just wide open, yawning cage with a ball right there, but unable to get it over Dever is Taylor Manella. Hofstra has another good attempt there, as Manella gets a "how you doing" by a USC defender in Olivia Dooley. And
that ball was rolling around on the turf in front of the goal, and just unfortunate that Manella was not able to recover possession there. But obviously very positive for Hofstra. They've had last 4 possessions, they've had opportunities on the goal.
That's probably their best offensive possession that they've had so far, best offensive chance, as that pass is going to go off of Hofstra there. A missed pass. Kayla Robertson tried to jump it, but she was unable to get that ground bouncing ball, as it gets sent back behind the net for the Trojans, where it goes to waiting Ella Haney. Haney on the far side, she sends it up top to Isabel Vitale, as Vitale will pass it over to Christina Gagnon. Gagnon back behind the net to Haney. Haney on the near side here, where it will go to Maggie Brown. Brown cutting towards the middle, shoving off a defender. She sends it up top to a teammate in Tilton. Tilton looking for something. She is marked completely by Kayla Robertson. Still has it. She sends it up top, where a Solane Murphy fake shot before she passes over, and it gets over to Isabel Vitale. Vitale cutting towards that 8-meter arc, as she spins off Jackie Gaddy, sends one back behind the net to Haney. Haney looking for a pass. She takes it herself, but has no angle towards the net, as she's spinning around trying for something. She's looking for a pass. She's going to lose it. Great job by Hofstra defense in Trinity Reed, who collects her own ground ball and sends it to Luciana Cardello.
And we were talking about it in the first quarter. Hofstra was playing very strong defense down in front of the goal, and that's obviously more the same there as they begin to move it up towards the other side of the field. Getting it over that midfield line is Bryn Hepting for the Pride. Wrestles will blow. Hofstra will retain possession, as Hepting will send a quick one there to Katie Kelly. Hofstra starting to slow it down. Jackie Gaddy, another one of this team's captains, along with Jess Smith, Kate Fiola, and Taylor Manella, have all been selected as captains for this season for head coach Shannon Smith. So Hofstra passing around with Lauren Coletti. Coletti sends one across to Kate Fiola, another one of the captains as previously mentioned, as it goes back to Taylor Manella. Manella went for a spin but doesn't have anything. Flag will go up, and we're going to have a free position attempt here for the Hofstra Pride. Not anything super dangerous, it looks like, from where the teams are standing. Actually, it might be one off that 8-meter. Yes, it will be. It'll be taken by Carrie Walzer, so it's got to be something back behind the play, Jack. I don't know if you saw what led to it. I didn't really see what led from it, or what led to this, but this is obviously a very important look for Hofstra. It's their first free position attempt of the afternoon. It will be taken by Carrie Walzer. Walzer races in, takes a shot, and she scores! It is 3-1 in favor of USC still,
but Hofstra has gotten themselves on the board, and it'll be Carrie Walzer who does it for the Pride. 11 minutes, 16 seconds left to play in this second quarter.
And Carrie Walzer was one of the players that I said during pregame you're going to want to look to if you see the Pride getting the shot there, and the opportunity was very important for Hofstra to get that.
For Hofstra to have that goal there for number 11, Carrie Walzer, as you said, needs to step up for this offensive unit, and especially going down by 3 early to this USC team. Getting one back is important, but we go to it. Yet to clean win a draw control. Obviously, they won that draw control to start out this quarter because it went out of bounds, but that's almost like winning a draw control off of a violation. They have yet to really get anything clean. It's still going to be the same parties for Hofstra. It's going to be Courtney Carollo going against USC's Katie Ramsey. So sent up where Carollo tried to get it there to Katie Kelly. Kelly can't get on the end of it, but Carollo will pick up the ground ball. So that's the first clean draw control win of the day for the Pride. And it's now 4-2 in favor of the Trojans. However, Hofstra back-to-back offensive possessions, especially with how well they've looked recently. This is exactly what they need, as it's with Katie Kelly on that far side alley. She sends it up top to Carrie Walzer. Walzer cradling it. She sends it over to Katie Kelly. As Kelly is still on the far side, she cuts towards the middle, sends one back to Coletti. As Hofstra playing quick passes, quick attempts as it goes up top to Coletti off of bounds. Rachel Graff now with it for the Pride. Over to Manella on the near side. She cuts towards the middle before she sends one back where she came from, and Kate Fiola. Fiola to Graff. Graff up to Fiola. And it's going to be a whistle there. It'll be another free position attempt here for the Hofstra Pride, as it'll be taken by Taylor Manella, a player that I'd like to see at this spot. It's going to be on the middle near side hash, as that's somewhere that Taylor Manella loves to get her chances from, especially coming out from behind the net.
And a really important draw control win for them, for Hofstra. Can't underscore that enough.
As Manella goes in, shot over the net, but back behind there to collect it is Katie Kelly. So it goes out of bounds, but she was back there closest, so it'll remain with Hofstra. Sent over to Carrie Walls, who drops it for a second, then spins off. Sends it up to Jackie Gaddy. Gaddy over to Fiola. Fiola to Graff. Now it's with Manella, the most recent shot taker for the Pride, as she's getting harassed there. Restless will blow, but that will retain possession for the Pride. Now it's with Coletti on the near side. Sends one in the middle, but she's unable to find the cutting Katie Kelly, as that was a great job looking for by Coletti, but unable to get on the end of it. So Hofstra will lose that possession, but they had some chances and had some shots.
Kelly had a strong look there in front of the goal, and unfortunately it was just a pass that was a little bit too strong, and it bounced in front of the goal right into the stick of USC's goalkeeper, as Hofstra is back once again on the offensive possession.
Another turnover for the Trojans, as Hofstra is going to get it over to Katie Kelly, who's going to have it still despite that whistle, as she will send it up top to Carrie Walzer. As Walzer has Fiola with her, she will send it over on the near side. Hofstra settling it down. They've done a good job at getting their passes very concise. They're waiting for cuts. You can clearly tell with this perimeter pass. They've had a few opportunities. They've really yet to get anything cleanly, as it's right now with Carrie Walzer and the Pride. She sends it to Taylor Manella. Manella has Lauren Coletti as a cutter, but she can't do anything with her, so she'll go back behind that to Katie Kelly. Kelly up top to Megan Flannery. As Flannery gets shoved off, it goes back behind the net to Kelly, who then goes to Flannery. Flannery over to Carrie Walzer, as Hofstra will restart here. They go up to that middle area, as Walzer's still with it. She has Manella wide open, so she will send it over. Manella has Walzer if she wants him, but she will go back behind the net to Katie Kelly. The Hofstra still very patient. 30 seconds left on the shot clock. 8:43 left on the game clock, as Flannery's going to lose it, but rest whistle will go in the favor of the Pride, as that stick got up into the face there of Megan Flannery. So they will start with that free start. Goes back behind the net to Taylor Manella. Manella spins off her defender, and she sends it across to Katie Kelly. Kelly trying to get something towards the net. She can't, so she'll send that to Rachel Graff. Graff to Megan Flannery. As Flannery sends it over to Carrie Walzer. Walzer with time ticking down. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Walzer needs something here. She cuts to her right. Sends it back behind the net to Katie Kelly. Kelly trying to not go in the crease there. She barely steps in. It'll be with USC. But a great job on offense there by the Pride, cutting down some time. They had some chances. The next thing they need is just shots.
That's obviously very important for them, as they've been getting looks down in front of the goal, and that's the most important thing for them, as USC has the ball in the crease down on the other end.
It was back behind the net as USC had a 3-goal lead just a few minutes ago, as they will send it to Maggie Brown. Brown goes up top to Selene Murphy, as Murphy goes to Maddie Dora. Dora over to Brown, as Brown settles it down, waits for a teammate there in Krista Gagnon, and she'll send it over. Goes back over the other side. It's now with Shelby Tilton. Tilton sends one wide there, as Hofstra will not get possession. Good job backing up by Ella Haney, as Haney goes behind the net. She is with Trinity Reed, spinning off, cutting towards the middle. Shot, easy save there for Cardello. And Hofstra's starting to get into it now with some good play, as that shot was not dangerous, as Cardello just waited for it to just lob into her stick.
And that's consecutive times where Hofstra was able to deprive the goal for USC there. The shot went out of bounds, and then a very easy save for Hofstra's keeper, as USC is turning the ball, or USC is coming back on the other end.
Another turnover for the Hofstra Pride. They are now 6 for 8 on their clearing attempts. USC is 5 for 8. So that's something that both teams have not been as clean as possible with. And it's on the far side now, where it gets settled down and sent up top to Selene Murphy. Murphy over the near side to Maggie Brown. Brown looking for a teammate there. She will find it in Maddie Dora. Dora going against Kate Fiola, as she will send it over to her teammate there, as it's Shelby Tilton. Tilton flips it over to Vitale. Vitale spins around, shoots, and a good save there by Cardello, as Vitale couldn't get that shot off cleanly. Good sticks in the lane by the Hofstra Pride. Broke that chance up.
Very good save there by Cardello, as Vitale had a nice spin move there to get down in front of the goal, but she was able to get another save there for her on the day.
Hofstra back on offense, settling it down. It goes to Kate Fiola. Fiola on the near side here to Rachel Graff, then back to Fiola. 5 minutes, 45 seconds left to play in this second quarter, as Megan Flannery is going to lose it, and was very lax when she's trying to pick it up there, and it nearly gets picked off by Shelby Tilton, who raced over that restricted line.
And that was obviously very critical for Hofstra not to lose possession there.
And they need to keep possession as long as possible, trying to end this one with a 1-goal deficit. That's on the near side with Taylor Manel, who sends it up top to Fiola. Fiola to Coletti. Rest whistle will blow, and we will have a free position attempt for the Hofstra Pride. Almost a straight up. It's going to be on that far side, just 1 hash mark away from true center. And it'll be taken there by Lauren Coletti. Hofstra has 2 free position shots so far on the day. They did score on 1. That's their only goal, is Carrie Walzer, as Coletti just winds up. Looks like she's going to just whip a shot on net. She does, but it goes just wide. Hits off the metal stanchion of those back nets and gets sent out middle of the offensive zone for this Pride team, but it'll be started up here by Taylor Manella. So Manella goes up top to Kate Fiola, then back to Manella. Hofstra still surveying. 20 seconds left on the shot clock as Manella loses the ball, trying to find that ground ball. She can't get it. It's getting on the end of it finally for USC will be number 17, Selene Murphy, who takes it back in transition and sends it up top. Shelby Tilton. Tilton over to Brown. Brown cutting towards the net. Has no one impeding her. She shoots and scores. It is now 4-1 in favor of the Trojans. What a transitional play from USC, as Maggie Brown able to get her first goal of the afternoon. It is now 4-1 in favor of the Trojans.
Maggie Brown, USC's leading scorer, gets on the board there, and that was a very critical turnover there for Hofstra, and USC was able to take advantage of it. Taylor Manella was in the battle there for the ball, and unfortunately, once USC was able to get it on the turnover, they had the brakes on Hofstra, and Maggie Brown was able to put it in for the Trojans.
USC calls a timeout, which is a little interesting considering they're up by 3 and just scored a goal. Got to be imagined that Lindsay Monday is trying to draw something up for her offensive unit if they win another draw control, because granted, Hofstra has been playing some good offensive possessions recently. They just have not been able to put the ball in the back of the net.
And that's the thing about Hofstra, is they came out, they ended the first quarter with a very they ended the first quarter with some good momentum, and they were getting the really good looks. They had the free possession shot that led to the goal, and there were other strong looks on the free possession. Unfortunately for Hofstra, they just haven't been able to find the back of the net, and there's been a couple of times where they've had a ball opportunity trickling right in front of the net, and just unfortunately for them, the goals have not come yet.
This is a USC team that is a little bit more on the younger side of things. This is the second or the third all-time meeting between Hofstra and the Trojans, as the last one came as the season opener back in that 2020 season, all those years ago, just before the COVID stoppage to that season. And USC, who was ranked 16th at the time, came to Hempstead and came away with a 1-goal victory at 9-8. And for Hofstra, do not have any goal scorers on the team from that game, as they were led by the Uz in Perella, Langella, Matera, and Katie Whalen. So a great output for Hofstra, but we saw only 3 different goal scorers in that one, as Lexa Matera had 4, Alyssa Perella had 2, and Grace Langella had 2 for the Pride. And to go back all that time, one player who was around, Taylor Manella, now a captain for this Pride team. That was her freshman year for this Hofstra Pride team.
And as Hofstra gets set on their respective ends of the field right before the draw control is about to take place, I think there were a lot of positives right before that goal by USC, and unfortunately that was just a turnover that led to a really nice transition goal for USC. So would like to see Hofstra continue more of the same that they were doing for the first 10 minutes and change of this quarter.
Hofstra still needs more shots. They only have 6 on the afternoon, 3 of which have gone on goal. They haven't really tested Kate Dever so far in this one, as that draw control is won. Still fighting for it. Can't pick it up there is either team before finally Catherine Lord gets it for the Trojans, who immediately sends it to Katie Ramsey. And that goes over to Maggie Brown, the most recent goal scorer for this Trojans team, and she sends it to Isabel Vitale, where it goes back behind the net to Ella Haney. Haney cutting from near side to far. She will whip one over to number 5, Shelby Tilton, as Tilton passes over to Ramsey. Ramsey back to Tilton. Tilton over to Schwitz. Schwitz scored the first goal of the game for this Trojans team. She goes to Brown. Brown fakes a shot there hard, but she will cut it back out top, where she finds a waiting teammate there in number 10, Ella Haney. Hofstra back on defense here as Trojans offense is cooking with a lot of passing as it finds its way to Maggie Brown. Brown tries to send a quick one to Schwitz, but Schwitz can't get on the end of it. However, she will pick up the ground ball. 35 seconds left on the shot clock, 3:38 left on the game clock. Ella Haney now with it for USC. She's in between both arcs. She will send it over to Shelby Tilton. Tilton spinning around, trying to find something, but she has to go back to Katie Ramsey. Ramsey cutting towards the middle. She had a shot there, but a good stick check by Carrie Walzer forced her to reconsider and send it back behind the net, where she finds a waiting Maggie Brown. Brown over to Shelby Tilton. Tilton cutting from near side to far, getting to that center area. She sends it across to Schwitz. Schwitz spins off, takes a shot off the stick there of Cardello as the shot clock expires. Way to go from the freshman to stay with it despite the expiring shot clock. Hofstra takes it back the other way with Carrie Walzer.
And there were some really strong defensive looks there to just deprive any opening for USC to get to the goal, and then obviously another really big save by Luciana Cardello there.
Just good heads-up defensive play from this Hofstra Pride team as Carrie Walzer will take it over that restricted line. She has one teammate in Katie Kelly standing on the F of that Hofstra logo on the far side alley, and she will find her as slowing it down for the Pride will be Kelly. It's going to make its way to the near side here, where it's with Rachel Graff. Now Graff to Manella. Manella being shadowed there by a defender, so she has to send it over to Kate Fiola. Fiola back to Manella, has a handcuff pass there. She sends it across, and an attempt there from Flannery to get into the middle. She loses it, tries to have it for a second, and she's going to lose it again. Is a good job there by USC. The ground ball was picked up by Danielle Carson, and it gets taken back over that midfield line. Now it's with Brown. Brown's going to lose it, picks up the ground ball. She's cutting towards the middle, doesn't have anything. She has Schwitz, but she can't connect, as that pass there is deflected by Hepting, as the intended target was Vitale, as she will pick it back up, and it goes up top where it will be slowed down by Katie Ramsey. Ramsey sends one across, but it's going to get lost there, but Ella Haney will pick it up, as that intended target was Shelby Tilton. Haney still with it. She goes to Schwitz. Schwitz over to her teammate in Ramsey. Ramsey back to Schwitz. Cutting towards the middle, looking for a shot there. She has nothing. She's on the side of the net. She has to spin, back pedals back behind the net, and she will send it over to Maggie Brown. Maggie Brown over to Isabel Vitale. 40 seconds left on the shot clock. Vitale still with it on the far side. She's being shadowed by Bryn Hepting. Over to Haney. Haney cutting towards the middle, takes a shot, cutting shot, and it's a goal for USC. It's now 5-1 in favor of the Trojans, as that was a good shot to cut down Luciana Cardello. Unable to get it, beat her on that lower left-hand side.
And unfortunately for the Hofstra Pride, they just allowed the ball to stay there stay down on their end for just long enough to allow an opportunity to open up for USC. I thought in the transition there, they did a better job than they did on the transition goal for USC in being able to get the shot, initial shot attempt stopped. But unfortunately for Hofstra, the ball was just in front or down by the crease area for just too long.
Offensively, a very slow half for this Hofstra Pride team as Katie Ramsey has her second goal of the game, second goal of the season. And they are in desperate need. It comes down to shots. They had a long offensive possession there, but they're still only sitting at 6 total shots. Again, 3 of them have gone on goal. And you look at it, Luciana Cardello, she's had to make 8 saves in this one, as she's faced 13 shots that have hit her on the cage, 17 total on the game, as that one's one back towards the USC end, but it's unable to get on the end of it for the Hofstra Pride, and picking up the ground ball will be Catherine Lord, who races into the Hofstra Pride defensive zone, and she sends over to Isabella Vitale before she goes over the restricted line for the right personnel to come on in Shelby Tilton. Sent up top there to Christina Gagnon, as Hofstra back on defense. That has been the biggest thing in this one. Draw controls at 6-2 in favor of the Trojans. On the far side there, it's with Brown cutting towards the net. She's going to back up, looking for someone, and she will find it in Haney. Haney going against Trinity Reed. She goes back behind the net, sends one over to Vitale. Vitale sends one in the middle. Shot, quick shot, one-time goal there for Maggie Brown. That's her second goal of the afternoon. As she had a Hofstra defender all over her, was forced to take that one-timer, and she slots it past Luciana Cardello. And Hofstra is now down by 5.
And unfortunately for Hofstra, that's just a hat-tip goal for USC there. They had a great defensive coverage in there. And as you mentioned, Jack, Maggie Brown was going down as the shot was going, or as she took the shot, and it was a one-time goal. And unfortunately, I think Hofstra did as much as they could do to try to stop that. And I think, like I said, that's just a hat-tip to USC, a fine goal for them.
And for Hofstra, it's not coming off of defensive lapses. USC has done a great job at beating them, but it's more of an offensive problem. This is exactly what we saw. USC coming in. We talked about it in the pregame show. They had played extremely stout defense all throughout this early part of the season, and we're seeing just another casualty of it in the Hofstra Pride, as that draw control is won back, and it's going to be waiting for the rest official go-ahead. It will be in favor of the Pride, as they get their third draw control victory of the afternoon, as it's taken over that restricted line by Emily Wygan. Wygan still with it as they switch off there. Gets a hard cross check from a defenseman in Alexis Nieblock. As that'll do it for the end of the first half, but a shot on, and it's a goal! So a very weird play there for the Hofstra Pride. Nonetheless, they're going to have a 6-2 deficit going into the halftime break, as that shot was taken there by Katie Kelly. So Hofstra able to get away with that one. Doesn't matter in the end if it did or didn't. Ref's call will stand, and that'll take us to the first half, or take us through the first half of play. And through one half, it has been all USC as they lead by a score of 6-2. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will break down the entirety of the first half of play, as well as give you keys to the second half and second half draw control. You're listening to Hofstra Pride Women's Lacrosse, presented by Flow Sports in 88.7 FM WRHU. Back to James M. Stewart Stadium, as we are just a minute and a half away from opening draw control here for the second half between the Hofstra Pride and the USC Trojans. We'll go through a stat read here as the Trojans have 18 total shots, 14 of which have gone on goal, as opposed to Hofstra's 7 shots, with 4 of them going on goal. That has forced Luciana Cardello to make 8 saves in this game, as opposed to Kate Devers' 2 saves. Draw controls are 6-3 in favor of the Trojans, but they have a distinct foul disadvantage or advantage, depending on how you want to look at it, as they have 11 fouls to Hofstra's 1. Hofstra has 1 successful free position goal, as they are 1 for 3 on their attempts, as USC is 0 for 2. Both teams have had some struggles in clears, as they've each had 10 total attempts. Hofstra is 8 for their 10, as opposed to the Trojans 7 for their 10. Hofstra has had more turnovers at 11 to 6, and USC has caused 5 turnovers, as opposed to Hofstra's 2. And Jack, we talk about Hofstra needing to find a way to erase this 4-goal deficit. Not an impossible, insurmountable deficit to overcome, especially with USC at times. They have not put the output. Their defense has played incredibly against this Hofstra team. Their offense has played extremely well. However, with 14 total shots on goal, you'd like them to be converting at a little bit higher of a clip, and that is a good sign for Coach Shannon Smith and Luciana Cardello, able to stand up to a very strong and very consistent attack from this Trojans team. But what are your keys for Hofstra to get back in this one?
Well, I think one of my keys, just looking at stats from the second half, is the 8 saves that Luciana Cardello has been forced to make, and obviously the save percentage is quite good there for her, but really you'd like to not have to see her have to face as many shots. And we were talking about how right as we were talking about at halftime, that a lot of the possessions for USC, or the shots and consequently most of the goals, have come deep in the shot clock. So that's obviously one thing. And then the draw control is critical for Hofstra. They need to get some wins out of that and turn things in their direction. I thought that they had some strong momentum, and they spent a lot of the second quarter on the USC side of the field. It's just that the big thing is, the most important thing is they have to find the back of the net at points in the second half.
And quickly for USC, they are up by 4. What do they need to do to ensure that they keep this lead and end with yet another victory against this Hofstra Pride team?
I think you can turn around the positive for Hofstra and say they've had plenty of opportunities, and they've been in front of Hofstra's goal, and they've only come away with 6 when they've had some really good looks.
We go back for the opening draw control here for the second half of play. It's going to be Christina Gagnon going up against, for the Hofstra Pride, Courtney Carollo, as the Pride will be moving from right to left across whatever you are listening or watching us on, as opposed to the Trojans going from left to right. Hofstra in their home white jerseys with blue lettering and numbering, gold trim on the sides, as well as white shorts, as USC is in those iconic maroon and gold colorway, as they are in their away maroon jerseys with gold lettering and numbering, as Hofstra will get a violation called against them. It'll be USC's ball off of that draw control, and they move very quickly as they get it over the restricted line, and they set up on offense. It goes to that far side. Will Ella Haney will settle it down for this Trojans team. So we're going from far side in the air as Shelby Tilton now has it. She goes up top, where she finds a waiting teammate in Maddie Dora. USC playing very slow and methodical right now. A lot of passing and a lot of space between them and the nearest Hofstra defenders, as now Schvitz has it for USC, but it goes back behind the net. Now it's with Maggie Brown, as Maggie Brown sends one, and it gets picked off there. Good job by Kate Fiola. Don't exactly know who the intended target on that one was, as Fiola will use her legs to take it over the midfield line and the restricted line, where she sends it to a waiting teammate, Katie Kelly, who drops it, but is able to pick it up just before that ball is taken away by USC and the defenders.
And a really critical turnover to get there for Hofstra to get an offensive opportunity going here.
Another player who just takes their eye off the ball before they get it there in Manila, as she gets 2 defenders all over. Now we have a odd manpower advantage here for the Pride, but USC able to get back in their defensive unit as it is slowed down here. It's sent over to number 23, Grace Pupke, as now it's with Rachel Graff. Over to Walzer. Walzer cutting towards the net. She sends it to Manella. Manella can't look that one in, as she's unable to pick up the ground ball. Good stick work there by Alexis Nieblock, as she pretty much lifted up Manella off her feet to make sure she couldn't get that ground ball. It goes back over the midfield line for the Trojans.
And not necessarily on that Manella possession, but one thing that you would like to see Hofstra is be a little bit more firm with these. There have been several times where their players have just taken their eyes off the ball, and on easy passes, the ball's just trickled away. So you'd like to see Hofstra improve on that.
Just not looking these passes in so far in this second half of play as USC has it. It's with Katie Ramsey. Ramsey goes back behind the net to Brown. Brown over to Vitale. Vitale cutting against Bryn Hepting as she goes over to Haney. Haney cuts towards the middle, but she will back out and send it across to Tilton. Tilton going against Walzer. Shot. Good save there by Cardello, and she's going to pick up the rebound. Great early save for the freshman to get herself into this halftime, or this second half after the halftime break, as she sends one over to Bryn Hepting, who then goes to Walzer.
Another really strong stand by Luciana Cardello. Even though she has allowed 6 goals, she has had a very strong game here, and she's been one of the keys as to why Hofstra is, why it's a manageable 4-goal deficit for Hofstra.
Hofstra's going to need to get some shots on goal and get their scoring output up. As Carrie Walzer has it, she sends it over to Manella. Manella sidestepping on that far side. She goes to the middle, and then she passes to Kelly. Kelly finds a teammate there in Gaddy. Gaddy looking for someone. She's going to find it in Flannery. Flannery has a stick in her hands, but she's able to make a pass to Gaddy, who then passes back to Pupke. Pupke in the middle, attempted there to Coletti, but she can't get that one. She was wide open as Manella now has it for the Pride. Walzer to Coletti. She gets it in! Lauren Coletti has her second chance there of this offensive possession. She does not let it go to the waste, as it is now a 3-goal game for the Pride. It is 6-3 USC with 11 minutes, 29 seconds left to play in this third quarter. What a play for the Pride.
And a quick redemption there for Lauren Coletti. That attempt that was right in front of the goal looked really promising, and she wasn't able to corral the pass there, but almost as soon as that opportunity goes away, another opportunity, and this time Coletti, as you said, doesn't let it go to waste. And now Hofstra is within 3 of USC.
That's Lauren Coletti's 9th goal of the season. The assist came from Carrie Walzer, her 3rd assist of the season. That's Coletti's first goal of the game. As Hofstra now has 2 assists on their 3 goals. They've assisted both of the goals that they have scored in a normal fashion. Again, Carrie Walzer opened the scoring for the Pride on a free position attempt. And once again, talk about Hofstra now has scored the last 2 goals, as they had that last second one off the stick of Katie Kelly, as Emily Wygand played hero off of that draw control, able to take it back behind the net and find Katie Kelly, who just slotted one home, which up for debate whether or not it was in the net before the horn went. However, what the refs deemed on the field is what the call is. No replay review here in college lacrosse, as that draw control is won back where Carrie Walzer gets it. Rest whistle will blow, so it'll be a timeout here for Coach Shannon Smith, her first timeout that she has called on the afternoon, and she wanted to help give Carrie Walzer a bit of a breather as she was being harassed there by multiple Trojan defenders.
And another, we talked about it at halftime, Hofstra, you really would like to see them win these draw controls, so another draw control win for them after that goal. Obviously something that's very critical to see for Hofstra. And I would say that you'd like to see them draw something up in this timeout and come out of it with a good plan of attack on the goal here.
That's got to be the modus operandum here for Shannon Smith. Is you can see very animated in the huddle for this Hofstra Pride team, getting into her players, trying to get them to a spot where they can make this a 2-goal game once again. If they open up this third quarter and make it a 4-6 trailing for or deficit for them, with 11 and 18 currently on the clock, if they are over 10 minutes and it's a 2-goal game, it starts to get a lot tighter, and Hofstra starts to get the momentum to swing back on their side, because we saw a lot in that first half. The Trojans had the brunt of offensive possession. They had trouble doing things with it because of good Hofstra defense. However, when they had their chances, they capitalized. Hofstra was failing to capitalize on their chances, and you think it's the same song and dance when Lauren Coletti cuts through the middle wide open and drops that pass. However, she's able to get her revenge immediately as the Pride have made it a 3-goal game once again. Both teams have broken their huddle. Still 35 seconds left on this timeout clock, so the refs are still meeting to discuss as we wait play to start back up again. It'll be Carrie Walser to start up for this Hofstra Pride team.
And we talked about how Carrie Walser was the assistant. That we talked about how Carrie Walser was going to be one of the keys for the Hofstra Pride in the pregame, and she has been all over this game with obviously a goal earlier and now an assist on that last goal by Lauren Coletti.
So Walser will start up for the Pride, waiting for the ref to give the official go-ahead, as there's one player near her in Trinity Reed, but she's going to do it herself. She takes over the restricted line. As Hofstra gets back to work on offense, it's with Katie Kelly. Kelly on the near side alley, she will send it across to the middle there to Carrie Walser, then goes to Taylor Manella. Manella over to Grace Pupke. Pupke down to Jackie Gaddy. Flag will fly, and we will have a free position shot here for the Hofstra Pride. Our free position attempt, don't know if it's going to be a shot, but taking it for Hofstra will be Jackie Gaddy. Actually, a correction there, it'll be Katie Kelly. So Kelly winding up to get that shot immediately. As we saw that earlier, and that led to that goal that was scored by Carrie Walser. It's a shot, and she scores! There it is! Don't need to run in and go in one-on-one with the goalie there. And Kate Dever, why not just rip a shot? It's now 4-6 in favor of the Trojans. However, Hofstra making it interesting once again.
We talked about how Hofstra, we thought that they would play close with this, and as we went into that halftime, the 6-2 might indicate that it had been USC dominant in this game, and USC was very all over the place, or was very much it slanted towards them in the first quarter, but Hofstra really started to pick up momentum throughout that second quarter, and with just under 4 minutes played in this third quarter, Hofstra has come out of halftime and looked really strong as of late. Obviously 2 goals now, and the strong defensive stand right at the beginning of the quarter.
A correction of a correction there. It will be Jackie Gaddy who scored that goal. It'll be a free position shot for her. That's her 4th goal of the season, as we have 10 minutes 55 seconds left on the clock, as that one's one well back, as Coletti's going to be in the area, but great job by the Hofstra Pride and Carrie Walser to pick it up, as she immediately is harassed as a foul is called. Hofstra is going to retain possession there, but what an individual effort by Carrie Walser, who is on the far side of that midfield circle, as she races in and grabs it right before the restricted line, because had it gone over, USC had 3 players in the area, would have had an easy time getting it back on offense. As Hofstra starts it back up, it's going to be with Pupke. Now it's with Graf. Graf over to Jackie Gaddy, the most recent goal scorer for the Hofstra Pride. As it's sent down in the middle, Manella gets a shot, but a great save there from Kate Dever. As there was quick passing, Katie Kelly found a cutting Taylor Manella, who just sent one. It looked like it hit right off of the helmet of Kate Dever, who was able to collect the rebound, and now USC takes it back the other way.
I think the important thing for Hofstra is to make Kate Dever have to work, because we talked about she didn't have that many shots thrown at her and opportunities to make saves, so that's obviously a positive for the Pride.
A correction there, actually, during that Hofstra celebration after their 4th goal, we had a USC goalie change. It's going to be Mia Fleming. So Mia Fleming made that save actually against Taylor Manella. Is a very sneaky move there from Lindsay Monday to switch up the goalies. We saw this just a few weeks ago when Hofstra played Marist. They went with 3 different goalies. Granted, they've been sticking with Cardello ever since, as that clearing attempt is blown up by the Trojans, and it's picked up and taken back the other way by Maddie Dora. Dora sending one to Isabel Vitale. She can't catch up to it. It's going to go out of bounds. Hofstra's going to get it back, so turnovers galore for both teams, as Hofstra has it now with number 33, Trinity Reed. She takes it over the midfield line, sends it over to Rachel Graff, who gets it over that restricted line. Hofstra has a chance to make it a 1-goal game. 9 minutes flat left on the clock here as it goes to Carrie Walzer. Walzer to Grace Pupke. As Pupke sends it to the near side where it goes to a waiting Katie Kelly, who's cutting across to the middle. Cross over to Manella, spin move, shot, save there by Fleming. Good save by Mia Fleming on that one. A lot more of a straight up save than she had to make last time she went one-on-one with Manella.
Good save by Mia Fleming there, but good for Nikki Manella to get an opportunity on goal there, and it was a very strong shot, and obviously the save there was good, but as we said, we need to see Hofstra get more shots. Taylor there, but good to see shots coming from Taylor Manella.
USC starts it up on offense here, playing it very slow as Maddie Dora has it. She sends it back behind the net to Maggie Brown. Vitale now with it, cutting from back of the net to the front. She sends it up top to Haney. Haney, one-on-one there with Reed. She sends one in, and a great lucky move there for the Pride. Is wide open was Maddie Dora, but USC will pick it up as that's going to be Gagnon with it. She sends it over to Dora. Dora up top to number 10, Haney, as Haney sends it across there to number 17, Murphy. Murphy cutting around. She will pass it back behind the net to Vitale. Vitale going against Hepting. As Vitale cutting around, she's cutting towards the middle, has nothing. Good slide there by Kayla Robertson, forces that pass up top where it now sits with Ella Haney. 13 seconds left on the shot clock. Shot there. Cardello loses it for a second, and an even better heads-up play by the Hofstra Pride there as Kendall Smith just knocks it back like a hockey player, knocks underneath the waiting goalie pads. Hofstra goes back on offense if they can get this clearing attempt. Gaddy's going to lose it though. She's fighting for the ground ball. Good heads-up play to knock it to open space. And it's going to be a foul called against USC there. Is getting a little bit over-anxious was Emma Reitman.
Very good for Hofstra to off of the stop there by Cardello to get it back and then get the foul there from USC to retain possession.
Pupke nearly loses it, but she takes it over the restricted line where she does lose it, but a foul there is called against Catherine Lord. Hofstra tries to start up a little bit too quickly there with Katie Kelly, and it'll be started back with Pupke, who immediately sends it to Jackie Gay. So back and forth action, 6 minutes, 38 seconds left to play in this third quarter. Hofstra has made it a 2-goal game once again. Pass attempted there to Gaddy. She loses it for a second, but able to retain. One hand on the stick, she'll send it over to a teammate, Katie Kelly. You see the Hofstra Pride practicing this in their warm-ups. Sent in to Rachel Graff. Shot! And she's unable to get it in. Another great save from Fleming as the ground ball is still being fought for. Neither team can get it. Kelly's in on it, and it finally is going to get picked up and settled down, but not a clean pass there, as Danielle Carson was the intended target, but no one around her, so she's able to slowly settle it down and pick it up. Looking for a teammate there. She's going to find it as USC will take it over that restricted line and midfield line with Shelby Tilton.
And the big thing for Hofstra there is to get opportunities down in front of the goal, and there was a lot going on there, but force USC to have to fight for the ball like that, and eventually opportunities for shots are going to come.
Claudia Schvitz with it now for the Trojans. She sends it to the nearer side, and Ella Haney. Haney drops it off for a teammate and her captain, and Katie Ramsey. Ramsey, she goes back on the far side, where it's now on the waiting stick of Maggie Brown. Brown going one-on-one there with Kendall Smith, as she shimmies around but is forced to send a pass out top. So Hofstra playing very good on defense there as a shot is tipped down in front. It's going to be a goal, as barely avoiding a crease violation is the Trojans. I believe that was Claudia Schvitz with it, who's a bit slow to get up. It is Claudia Schvitz, so she will have her second goal of the game. It is now 7-4 in favor of the Trojans. 5 minutes, 14 seconds left to play in this third quarter.
And that's now the third straight game for Claudia Schvitz where she's had 2 goals, and she didn't score in some of USC's earlier games. So obviously for the Trojans, that's been something that's been very good to see her produce in the last 3 games.
Look back on the offensive side. Hofstra's had some great possessions recently, but Mia Fleming, who has come in, has stood on her head and made 3 saves, 3 difficult saves against this Hofstra Pride offense that was humming for a good portion of this third quarter, starting to get those shots back up on net. However, they need to get get the goals to start falling. So 5 minutes, 14 seconds. Go back for the draw control. It's still going to be Courtney Carollo for the Hofstra Pride, going now against Katie Ramsey of the Trojans. So a bit of a hold up here, as the clock was not correct, but it has now been updated since 7-4 in favor of the Trojans. Both players posturing in the draw control circle, waiting for the ref to give them the official go-ahead. He backs up. Ball is won back towards the Trojan sideline, but unable to get on the end of it there is Walzer, as it gets taken back for USC. It goes onto the stick there of Maggie Brown, who takes it back behind the net. She's being shadowed there by Kendall Smith, as Smith starting to back off, and that pass is sent over to Claudia Schwitz, who just scored her 4th goal of the season's 2nd goal of the afternoon. USC still with it, as it goes back behind the net where waiting Maddie Dora is with. Has it. Dora faking against Hepton, cutting towards the middle, spins off, but doesn't have a lane towards the net, nor a shooting lane, so she has to send it up top to Haney. Haney over to number 20, Ramsey, before it goes to number 5, that's Tilton. Shot there, good save for the Hofstra Pride, as that shot was taken by Ella Haney, but a Luciana Cardello save. That's her 11th of the afternoon, as she's played very strong here for this Hofstra Pride team.
And on the look before the save, Emily Wygand did a really good job to shut off the shot opportunity for USC. It looked like there was going to be a cut there, and she did a good job of shutting that off and having to force USC to reset.
Hofstra with a blown clearing attempt, is they're unable to get a cross-field pass that bounced right in front of Rachel Graff. So USC gets it right back after a great save from Cardello. Trojans slowing it down. It's on the stick now of Maggie Brown, as she shuffles and then sends one back towards the middle there, where Shelby Tilton has it. Tilton back to Schwitz. Schwitz going one-on-one there with Jackie Gaddy, who shadows her back behind the net. She goes to the far side, where Ella Haney now has it. Haney cutting towards the middle. She sends it across to Tilton. Tilton to the near side to Vitale. Vitale takes it back behind the net, but she will go away and send it back to the player who passed it to her, and Tilton, who then goes to Haney. Haney on the far side there, where it's with Ramsey. Ramsey over to Tilton. USC hasn't really had any shooting lanes on this offensive possession, as getting knocked down is Tilton, but it's still with the Trojans. Great save there off a whipping shot from Maddie Dora. And it goes off the edge of Cardello's stick. USC still has it. That's a reset of the shot clock. We're up to 50 seconds now for USC to get this shot. On the far side now, where it's with Maggie Brown. Brown up top to Tilton. Tilton on the near side here to Schwitz. Schwitz has one defender on her there in Gaddy, but a second one comes over in Fiola, as these going to lose it, but unable to pick it up cleanly there is Trinity Reed. And finally, USC is going to get on the end of it, as Maddie Dora comes in and scoops up that ground ball, as a timeout will be called on the field. Believe it was called by USC, as you can hear PA announcer Sadiq Faruqi confirm that. So it'll be the second timeout called by USC, as Lindsay Monday will assess the damage with her team. 25 seconds left on the shot clock. 2:22 left on the game clock. So a bit of time left for USC to really set something up. But you got to imagine they need to find some way to get an open shooting lane, because they really have not had any of that on their last few offensive possessions, despite that goal from Schwitz.
And the Pride have really done a good job of shutting off those open lanes for USC and not really giving them looks at the goal. And you had the nice deflection save there by Luciana Cardello, and you would have hoped to have seen Hofstra able to recover. The ball was loose down there, down right by the end. USC was able to come back with it before the timeout, but even just to force the loose ball there was obviously a positive for the Pride.
And for Hofstra, their defense has played very stout so far, as we've said. Still at a 7-4 margin. They're down by 3. They get a stop here, go back on offense, make it a 2-goal game once again going into that fourth quarter. Anything can happen. But it's going to start with a stop here. And on the other side, they need to still figure out this USC team, because the second felt like they did, they made a goaltending change, and they brought in Mia Fleming, who has made 3 great saves to open up in only 8 minutes, 33 seconds of play. But for Hofstra, they finally break their huddle here, go back on defense, and Luciana Cardello has played, I would say, 3 great games now for the Pride. You want to talk about 4 when she came in relief during Marist, or she started against Marist and was taken out early. She gave up 3 goals on 3 shots and did not really see any playing time after that.
And I think you bring up the goalie change for USC, and that might have been a very interesting ploy by USC to Hofstra starting to figure out Dever there, and the goalkeeper change, at least for the Pride on offense, seems to have potentially slowed them down just a touch.
So we wait for the start here, as we will get it for a second, as there was a pass sent from Tilton. She found Ramsey, but ref said it's going to be Ramsey's start who passes to Tilton, and we go to Schvitz. Hofstra playing very much a sheltered off defensive unit. They're pressing out whenever they need to as it goes up top. 1 defender in the area in Emily Wygand, as a shot there is taken by Ramsey, but Luciana Cardello well up to the task as she's able to make yet another save in this one, her 13th save of the game.
And another stand by Luciana Cardello, there was strong defense by Hofstra defenders forced the shot. Not necessarily an easy save for Cardello, but a good save for her. And just you're seeing Hofstra really click right now on defense.
With 13 saves in this game, it is a career high for Cardello, who set it last game against Wagner at 9. But as this game will continue, she will continue to rack up those save numbers as Hofstra has it on the offensive side is with Coletti. Coletti gets pushed off her attack there as she sends it over to Katie Kelly, but Kelly is forced to step back. So Coletti will start it on this free position, or a free startup, not much of a free position shot. She's got a teammate there in Kate Viola, and she will find her, who then goes to Taylor Manella. Manella goes to Rachel Graff, as Graff on the far side there sends it back behind the net to Fiola. Fiola to Manella, back to Fiola. On the far side there as it goes to Carrie Walzer. Walzer looking for something. She doesn't have anything. She's going to go to Katie Kelly. Kelly is taken down. She's going to send a bouncer to Carrie Walzer. No call, as Walzer will go to Manella. Manella to Graff. Graff spinning around. She's going to lose it. 8 seconds left on the shot clock, and the ground ball is picked up by USC, who now will take it back the other way. Passing there. It's dropped by Haney, and both teams are fighting for it. Hofstra gets over-ambitious there for a second, as Kayla Robertson, for a second, looked like she might have had a foul called against her. However, Hofstra is going to get the ball back as they send it over to Grace Pupke, who takes it over the midfield line with a pass to Carrie Walzer, who herself loses it before she gets over the restricted line. However, a foul will be called against the Trojans, but the horn will sound, and that'll do it for the third quarter of action. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will have the final frame between the Trojans and the Pride, which the Trojans will go into with a 3-goal lead at 7-4. You're listening to Hofstra Pride Women's Lacrosse, presented by Flow Sports in 88.7 FM, WRHU.
To be successful both academically and athletically. Membership benefits begin at $100.
Great seats at a great price. Get them safer, simpler, and smarter with Ticket Smarter. A proud partner to the biggest names in live sports and events, including ESPN events and iHeartRadio. TicketSmarter has seats for over 125,000 live events and 48 million tickets for sale. All backed with the TicketSmarter 100% ticket guarantee.
It's time for the fourth quarter here at James M. Stewart Stadium, as the Hofstra Pride trail the 20th ranked in the nation USC Trojans by a score of 7-4. Once again, my name is Jack Brother, joined alongside by Jack Sargent. And Jack, Hofstra needs a draw control win here desperately if they want to have a chance. There's plenty of time, but they want to get off to the right foot. We saw them get off to the right foot on the third quarter. However, they struggled at sustaining that momentum, as they had to a 2-goal deficit at one point, but they're back to 3 at 7-4.
And we both kind of looked at each other and said draw control was the big key for this. And also they got to figure out the goalkeeper change for USC. Obviously, they did kind of do the surprise goalkeeper change with Mia Fleming, and Hofstra has yet to find the back of the net with Mia Fleming in goal.
So draw control there is won for a second by the Pride, but finally Courtney Carolla will pick it up for Hofstra as she is getting hit around on that far sideline, forcing head coach Shannon Smith to call her second timeout of the game, which is very important as both teams with a full quarter left to play are only going to have one timeout apiece. So if they want to have any chance of stopping clock, especially what we saw there, Courtney Carolla had a chance of going out of bounds. They're only going to have one more opportunity to do it, so they have to pick and choose very carefully.
And I think Shannon Smith understands the opportunity, or the importance of having the possession here for Hofstra, and using the timeout there to potentially save a going out of bounds there. And we were talking about it a little bit before the draw control. Hofstra needs to get something. There's plenty of time in the game, as you said, but Hofstra needs to get points on the board because, as we said, USC was very strong on defense the second half of that third quarter.
Yeah, points on the board is exactly what the Pride need, as they're down by 3. They've had their chances, especially as this game has worn on. They've definitely started to come into that offensive element that they have been playing at times with. However, this is exactly the defensive performance that we expected to see from the Trojans. We talked about it in the pregame show. Apart from Ohio State, Boston College, and Princeton, of their 6 games, half of them they've kept their opponent under 7 goals. They beat Villanova on March 5th by a score of 15-4. So they had no problems with their offense launching. However, they just were a stout defensive team, and they put a stop to a tough Villanova team. And also, March 10th, Princeton, they were 16th in the nation, and they really put the clamps on them, losing by a score of 8-11. However, Hofstra has a chance to really make some noise here as they goes over the restricted line, and Hofstra will start up with Kate Fiola. Fiola cutting on the near side alley, and she will take it back behind the net. She looked to a teammate in Jackie Gaddy behind the net, but decided to go out top to Rachel Graff. So Hofstra slowing it down. It's with Lauren Coletti on the far side. Up to Katie Kelly. Kelly fakes a pass to Manella. Manella on that 8-meter arc there has nothing, so she'll pass over to a teammate, Carrie Walzer. Walzer to Coletti, up top to Graff. As Fiola now has it for the Pride. Manella has it lane, but doesn't have really anything besides that, so she goes to Gaddy. Gaddy over to Walzer on the far side. 34 seconds left on the shot clock. Just under 14 left on the game clock as Manella has it. Pass there, shot, and scores! Carrie Walzer makes it a 2-goal game once again. What a pass from Taylor Manella as that nearly goes wide of Walzer. Able to keep it and whip a shot top corner. Hofstra gets their first goal on Mia Fleming, and it's a 2-goal game once again. 13:51 left in the fourth quarter.
And we haven't really said the name Taylor Manella a lot today in terms of the goal or assist category, but a fast pass there, and I think the speed at which that happened, you mentioned it almost went over the stick of Carrie Walzer, but I think obviously once Walzer was able to corral it, the speed of that was the benefit for Hofstra, and once again it's a 2-goal deficit for them.
Taylor Manella leads the team in assists. That's her 14th on the season. 24 points going into this game. That's her 25th on the season. So a huge output there from one of the elder statesmen of this Hofstra Pride team. Well, we go back for the draw control here. It's still going to be Courtney Carolla going up against Katie Ramsey. Ramsey's going to win it back towards that Hofstra defensive zone, but Carolla does not let her pick it up easy as the ground ball there is found by Catherine Lord, who bobbles it for a second, but now has it. She takes into the Hofstra offensive zone, but has no real offensive gusto, so she'll send it out to her teammate, it's Elaine Murphy, who then goes to Gagnon. USC looking to make this a 3-goal game once again. Don't want to make it too close, as Hofstra has a very threatening chance to go on a run. So USC has it on that far side. It's with Haney. Haney going against Kayla Robertson, as she'll send it back behind the net to Isabel Vitale. Vitale stutter steps and sends it up top to a waiting Shelby Tilton. Tilton cutting to her left, had a shot there, but it's going to be a foul called against the Hofstra Pride, as Kate Viola will be the guilty party there, and she pushed over. It looked like Maggie Brown, who will take the free position opportunity here. She's going to be on the near side, 1 hash mark away from straight center. She's got defenders flanking her in Trinity Reed and Bryn Hepting, who both get involved there and knock that shot wide. 43 seconds left on the shot clock with the reset, as back behind the net was Isabel Vitale to pick it up. So Gagnon now has it for the Trojans. She's looking for something. She takes that 8-meter fan, but has nothing, so she's going to button hook out and look for her teammate there in Shelby Tilton. Tilton goes over to Maddie Dora. As Dora will reset it for this USC offense. Going on one-on-one with Fiola, she stutters and shuffles back behind the net, where Fiola will follow. Sent back up top, where Gagnon now has it for USC. Spinning off, looking to get to that middle, but she has nothing, so she's forced to send it back behind the net to Isabel Vitale. Back up front, and a goal there for USC. It's now 8-5, 12 minutes, 19 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Hofstra's got to get a draw control here and get themselves back on the board. Great answer from the Trojans.
And it's USC's leading scorer again, Maggie Brown. I believe that's her 3rd goal of the game in this.
Hat-trick goal there for Maggie Brown.
Yeah, it's a hat-trick goal for Maggie Brown, and as you said, a great response. Hofstra had a really good look down on the offensive end to get the goal there, but after the ball went out off of the free possession, they were able to set up Maggie Brown, USC was, and a 3rd goal for her. Maggie Brown, their leading scorer, has been a very big factor as to why USC is in front at the moment in this game.
You can hear the USC fans who have made the trip with a quick USC chant, as they have filled out James M. Stewart Stadium here, supporting a team that is looking to move to 5-2 on the season as they enter conference play, as that draw control is won towards USC end, but unable to pick it up cleanly for the Pride is Carrie Walzer. And yet again, Catherine Lord, just waiting in the wings, scoops it up and takes it into the offensive zone for her team, where she looks for a pass back behind the net, but she'll go up top to Shelby Tilton before she goes over the restricted line and lets Katie Ramsey get involved on the offense. Fitz with it, over to Ramsey, who just came in, as it goes to Shelby Tilton. Tilton on the far side there, where waiting for it is Maddie Dora, as it goes back to the near side and Katie Ramsey. Ramsey shuffling, going one-on-one with Fiola and Gaddy. Back behind the net now, as USC playing very slow. Maddie Dora with it. She cuts to her right, takes a shot, and she scores! She beats Luciana Cardello very clean on that shot. It's now a 9-5 game. USC, just like that, has opened up a 4-goal lead. 11 minutes, 29 seconds left to play in the game.
And unfortunately for the Hofstra Pride, that was just an opportunity where USC had a couple of really strong looks, and they were able to set up for the goal there by Dora.
That's another goal for Dora in this one, as she now has 2 on the afternoon, and it's going to come down to draw controls. Hofstra had that last one very close to being won by Carrie Walzer, but she just was unable to finish it off, and she's been marking up very closely with Catherine Lord, as both those two have been doing a great job at getting the draw controls, as Catherine Lord has 8 total wins, as she paces everyone in both teams, as she has the overall game lead. So 1 up, back towards the USC end, and Lord wins yet another draw control for the Trojans, to number 9 on the afternoon. She sends it over to Maggie Brown. So Brown will go to Schvitz, as USC now with multiple offensive possessions in a row. We saw this a lot in the first half. They're able to slow it down, as a shot clock never started, as the refs are trying to figure out who's going to go for it, as it will be started up for the Trojans now with Katie Ramsey. UFC playing very slow. They don't need to do anything more with a 4-goal lead against the Pride, especially with how good their defense has been playing, as they've exploded back out to a 4-goal lead once again. Was back behind the net, where Ella Haney now has it for USC. She sends one in the middle of Brown. Brown takes a shot, just goes wide. A good attempt there by Maggie Brown, but unable to get one on the cage. As it stays with the Trojans, as it goes back up top, is playing pitch and catch is Schvitz and Maddie Dora, who now has it. Cutting towards the middle, as she walks into the crease of the men's lacrosse game right now, as she will send over Schvitz, who then stumbles as she stutters and then sends it out top to Katie Ramsey. Ramsey cutting to the side of the net on that far side. She will send a sidearm pass to Haney before she goes out of bounds. Cutting towards the middle, pass, shot off the post, but ref's whistle will blow beforehand. It'll be a free position is what the refs are signaling, but there's some discourse among the refs. So couldn't exactly hear off our crowd mic what that is. It's going to be a free position shot because of that shot off the post. It's finding wide open there was Maddie Dora, who just whipped one past Luciana Cardello but could not beat the frame of the net, as she will take the free position here for the Trojans. USC 0 for 3 so far on their free position shots in the game, as Hofstra's done a great job as it's Bryn Hepting and Trinity Reed flanking Dora, who's waiting to go. A player behind her too is Jackie Gaddy, but you got to imagine it's going to be Hepting and Reed as they both get their sticks involved and do a great job, as the only thing that Dora can do is whip that one well over the net. Had it gone back with an upright there, could have been for 3 points, but it will stay with the Trojans as it goes up top to Selene Murphy. Murphy falls as she goes into that 8-meter fan, and it's going to get picked up by the Hofstra Pride, not cleanly, as just unable to get to it is Trinity Reed, and you can tell just how tired and with the shot clock expiring this Hofstra Pride team is, because Trinity Reed did not make an effort to go after that ground ball. Granted, she saw that shot clock was expiring, but we're seeing Hofstra not able to pick these ground balls up cleanly, and they're not able to go after and get them again.
And that might be one of the consequences of how they've been, for a large portion of this game, on defense for this. But on the free position shot, it was very, very good by Hofstra to shut off the opportunity from Dora, who elected to drive towards the goal, and Hofstra was able to stop a shot opportunity there.
Katie Kelly tripped up there by Olivia Dooley. So Hofstra retains possession, as there's 9 minutes, 7 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. Still plenty of time for Hofstra to make a comeback, but it has to start with this offensive possession, especially with how the draw controls have gone in favor of the Trojans to the tune of 11-6. Hofstra with 14 shots, with 11 of them going on goal, as Carrie Walzer has it for the Pride. She sends it to Rachel Graff. This Graff goes to Manella. Manella cradling it on that left side. She passes over to Katie Kelly. Kelly directs traffic, then sends it to Kate Fiola. Fiola back to Graff, then to Manella. Manella had a cutting chance there with Fiola, but not really much there, as she goes back behind the net to Gaddy, then on the far side to Lauren Coletti. Coletti up top to Rachel Graff, then to Manella. Manella over to Coletti. Coletti to Graff in the middle. Shot! She scores! That's a great first step for the Hofstra Pride. It's now 9-6 in favor of USC. 8.5 minutes left to play in the game. But Hofstra, most importantly, quick passing there leads to a beautiful goal from Rachel Graff.
Really good goal there by the Hofstra Pride. And there was a nice passing sequence there, and they were able to set up the goal right in front. A really strong look in front of the goalkeeper, and I think that's obviously one of the most important things about that is they were able to get the passes there, have some looks going around, and then were able to find the right opportunity. And then also, this is a manageable 3-goal deficit with 8.5 minutes left to play.
We go back for the draw control, and for the first time all game, it's going to be a different taker for this Hofstra Pride team, as Julia West will step in. She will go up against Katie Ramsey. So still waiting on the refs to get this set up, as there's a few changes now. As we said, Carrie Walzer was who was going up against Catherine Lord in the posturing section, as looked like Lord forced the Pride's hand, is going to have Carrie Walzer go back to shadowing her as she swaps with Katie Kelly. So it'll be Lord and Walzer to our left and to the Hofstra end of it. And on the other side, it'll be Katie Kelly in the USC end of the field. So it's one back towards Hofstra's defensive zone, getting to that restricted line, and Lord does a great job of getting it, but an even better job by the Hofstra Pride. A smart play by Trinity Reed, who went for the ground ball, but ultimately just kept Lord's stick from being able to pick it up cleanly, and she kicks it out of bounds. Hofstra takes it back the other way with Carrie Walzer, who then sends it to the most recent goal scorer in Rachel Graff, who then passes to Kate Fiola. Fiola settling it down, then goes to Graff. Graff to Walzer. As Hofstra has a chance to make it a 2-goal game once again. As Katie Kelly has it over to Manella. Manella spins off. She's tripped. And it's not going to be a free position there. But a great move there by Taylor Manella to get herself towards goal. As it was a great opportunity had she beaten her marker. So waiting for Manella to start play back up again. It looks like she's going to face her body towards Lauren Coletti. She has Rachel Graff near her too, but it looks like Coletti is going to be the one who will win the lottery of getting that pass. Actually, a fake pass there, but finally Lauren Coletti does receive it. Sent over to Rachel Graff. As Graff goes to Fiola. Fiola on the near side here is pushed away from goal, so she'll go up top to Rachel Graff. Graff over to the far side to Katie Kelly. Kelly with a pass down low, and it's going to go wide of the net. Hofstra arguing for that to be a shot, but that was a clear pass that goes skitters wide. Hofstra's going to lose possession there.
And as USC comes in transition, there were some positives there, but unfortunately the pass did go wide and did go out and give USC the possession back.
So back behind the net with Ella Haney, who is from the area, Garden City, New York, went to Garden City High School. And it is a homecoming from her, going from coast to coast, from New York to California, and it's still with the Trojans. Back behind the net with Isabella Vitale, as Vitale is being shadowed there by Hepting, as a pass there is dropped by Schwitz, but no one in the area, as Schwitz is able to pick it up very easily. Cutting towards the net, she has a chance at net, and it gets blocked down in front. Both teams fighting for the ground ball, but a Hofstra is going to get called, or going to get possession there off a crease violation. So it'll go in the Pride's favor. 6 minutes, 10 seconds left to play in the game. Still down by 3 of the Pride.
I think the important thing for Hofstra is to get an opportunity going and hopefully for them get a goal and not take too much time off the clock, as there is just under 6 minutes left to play in this game. Blown
pass by the Pride gets picked up and sent to Olivia Dooley, who then gets over the restricted line to Ella Haney. But Haney on the near side alley, spelling out that Hofstra logo, and she's being shadowed by Bryn Hepting, where she goes back behind the net to the far side. Haney surveying her options, has Hepting all over her, and will send it out to Claudia Schwitz, where USC slows it down. Still, don't need to do much. 60 seconds left on the shot clock, 5:28 left on the game clock, as with Gagnon. Gagnon faking a few passes, looking up top, it has nothing, so she will go to Claudia Schwitz. Schwitz sends one very high, forcing Vitale to jump up, but she's able to retain it and send it over to Haney. Haney back up top there to Maddie Dora. Dora one-on-one with Robertson. Robertson cross-checking her and sending her to the perimeter, where it goes back to Vitale. Up top there to Schwitz. Schwitz faked a run before she spun around and passed back to Katie Ramsey. Ramsey on the far side cutting against Walzer. She'll send it back behind the net to Isabel Vitale. 25 seconds left on the shot clock, 4:50 left on the game clock. Maggie Brown now with it for USC. She's cutting to her left, takes a shot, and it's going to go wide and high, but a smart move there from Cardello to jump up and make that save. Hofstra would not have gotten possession otherwise, because there were 2 USC players back behind the net.
And as Hofstra comes in transition, that was a huge possession to not concede a goal there, as time continues to tick away for Hofstra with under 4.5 left to play in this game.
So foul is called there as Jackie Gaddy has a stick up in her face. Play will be started up by her. She has Katie Kelly in the area, so she'll flip it to her, and a quick pass to Grace Pupke. Pupke over to Kate Fiola. Fiola to Graff. Graff Surveying her options, she's going to find Katie Kelly, who then sends it across the field to Manella. Manella fakes a pass before she cuts across it. Sends a fake shot there from Katie Kelly, who then lofts it over to Pupke. Pupke trying to find someone. She finds Fiola, but Fiola can't look that one in, but she picks up the ground ball, run over the restricted line, and send a desperation heave to Trinity Reed, who herself takes over the restricted line, goes back over, and now Fiola will join the action. Still on the far side, 28 seconds left on the shot clock. A pass in the middle there to Coletti attempted. She drops it, but Rachel Graff will pick it up for the Pride. Hofstra is 20 seconds down on the shot clock. Over to Katie Kelly on the far side, who then sends it to Coletti. Coletti in the middle of Graff. Graff gets a stick in her face. She takes a shot. It's going to get knocked away in front. Hofstra's going to retain possession there with a shot clock reset. So that is huge for the Hofstra Pride, as they can now settle it back down. Still 3 minutes, 13 seconds left on the game clock as Manella cuts towards the middle. She takes a shot. Her stick gets hit as she does, but we're going to get a free position attempt for the Hofstra Pride. So a chance here for Manella to get her first goal of the game and make this a 9-7 game with 3 minutes, 7 seconds. She'll be taking it pretty much straight on that far side, just one hash away.
A couple of massive circumstances there for Hofstra to get the shot clock reset, and then to get Taylor Manella an opportunity for a basically straight up on the free position shot there. And Taylor Manella is not on, as we've talked about, is not on the board with a goal this game.
So now waiting for the official go-ahead from the referees, who are settling everyone down. As Manella, we've seen Hofstra take just straight shots that have been able to beat Mia Fleming in this one, who has not had too much testing that she's needed to make saves. She's been giving up goals. She now has 4 saves on 6 total shots against, as Manella picks it back up. Refs positioning their players as he backs up, and we wait for his official whistle. There it is. Manella races in. She shoots, and she scores! Hofstra Pride are back down by 2. There's 3 minutes, 4 seconds left to play. Manella gets her first goal of the game, 12th of the season. And it is it's getting closer there, Jack.
And you're obviously very glad if you're Hofstra to see Manella finally get on the board here with just over 3 minutes left to go. And this is a manageable deficit. USC has obviously been, as you would expect with them in front, they have been taking time down off the clock in their possessions and going long, but with 2 goals left, 3 minutes, it's definitely manageable for Hofstra, and to get some, obviously at this point you'd like to see them get a strong defensive stand here and get the ball back with some manageable time left.
Not as much as a strong defensive stand for the Hofstra Pride. You want to see them win this draw control here, as they are still at a deficit of 11-7. Courtney Carollo is going to come back into the draw control circle. She will still be going up against Katie Ramsey for USC. So Hofstra back down by 2, 3 minutes, 4 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. It's been back and forth. They lead the quarter scoring at 3-2, as that one's one up. Walser fighting for it. It gets sent back, and it's finally picked up by USC and Claudia Schwitz. But a pass there. Manella picks it up, and refs will blow back behind the play there, but Manella would have had a clear lane towards the net had she not been stopped by the refs' interference. So it'll be started up with Claudia Schwitz. 2 minutes, 40 seconds in the fourth quarter. Hofstra needs to get a quick turnover here, or a quick stop, as USC more than willing to let the clock whittle down as much as possible, as Brown takes it over the midfield line, and then with the pass gets over that restricted line, and she finds Olivia Dooley, who finds herself well out of possession in this one. Trojans playing pitch and catch on the near side. It gets to Maddie Dora as it goes up top there to Katie Ramsey. As said, USC not playing very high octane lacrosse right now, as they need to whittle down this clock as much as possible. On the near side here to Isabel Vitale, as slowing it down will be Maddie Dora, who looks back towards her coach Lindsay Monday to give her orders. On the far side here, it's with Schwitz. She sends it back behind the net. A pass there is knocked down by Hepting. Smart play, very heads-up play by Isabel Vitale, who body blocks Hepting, unable to get the ground ball as that ball harmlessly rolls out of bounds. Vitale picks up, sends a pass there, and it's going to go out of bounds as the intended target was Maggie Brown. 1:35 left to play. Hofstra has a chance to make it one.
Hofstra in transition really needs to get something going here, and as they get the ball up to Carrie Walzer towards halftime, this is a really critical possession for them.
Closing out on this game here as Katie Kelly has it for the Pride. She's going to get tripped up, and it's going to be Hofstra ball. 1 minute, 16 seconds left. The Hofstra faithful starting to get more animated here as they can smell a chance for this game to get within one, and a chance for the Hofstra Pride to tie it up with two successful offensive possessions. Katie Kelly started up, and most importantly, a card was assessed on that one. It'll be 2 minutes. The guilty party will be Catherine Lord. So Hofstra is going to go on the man up here with 1:16 left to play. They don't have time to take it slow as it gets onto the stick there of Julia West. Hofstra slowly getting it back behind the net to Manella. Manella looking for a teammate. She doesn't have one. She go back to Graf. Graf up top to Julia West. West has Coletti with her. She sends one high to Katie Kelly, but Graf able to pick up the loose ball. Manella with it. She sends one to Walzer. Walzer cutting towards the net. She gets tripped up, and we're going to have a free position shot here as the Hofstra Pride, with just under 50 seconds, have a chance to make it a one-goal game once again. As this will be huge for Hofstra. Taking it for the Pride will be Carrie Walzer. She has 2 goals in the game, and both of them have come off a free position shot.
Critical turn of events here for Hofstra to have the player up and then also to get this free position shot now.
So Walzer waiting for the ref's official go as she cuts towards the middle, takes the shot, she scores! It's a one-goal game once again. 46.7 seconds left on the clock. That's a hat trick for Carrie Walzer. And the Hofstra Pride, from down by 4 at times, have made this a one-goal game. We'll go back for a draw control here. And if the Hofstra Pride can win it, they have a chance to tie this game once again.
And Jack, what did we say in the pregame? Hofstra was going to play this game close, and they've been playing close the entire time. They're back to within 1. And you said it, draw control is the most critical thing for them right now.
It's going to be Courtney Carollo going up against Katie Ramsey. This is a must-win draw control for the Hofstra Pride. Got to imagine if they lose it, they're going to have to pull Cardello out of the net to get that extra defender, and USC is more than willing to just let this game whittle down with it. So waiting for Hofstra to get ready is same as we've seen. It's going to be Carrie Walzer matching up against Catherine Lord, who's been released from her yellow card. Coach Smith basically in a squat, begging her team to win this draw control. It's one up. Carollo knocks it down. Hofstra fighting for it, and they got it. Katie Kelly has it. An immediate timeout is called by Coach Shannon Smith. What a win for the Hofstra Pride, as it is bobbled for a while by Katie Kelly. Carrie Walzer was in the area, but the Hofstra Pride, with the shot clock turned off, have a chance to make this a 9-all game and potentially send us to the extra frame.
And it's impossible to understate how important that face-off win was for Hofstra. And they had the timeout there. Shannon Smith, as you said, immediately calls it to try to draw something up. And as we have 45 seconds, I believe it was, or around the 40 range for Hofstra, 40 seconds exactly. Important to get a shot, but the thing for Hofstra is you have a chance to at least get something going. So that's the big important thing for Hofstra, as they come out of this timeout in just over a minute.
They've got to get a shot. That's the most important thing. It's got to be the right shot. It's not down to just getting shots on goal, peppering Mia Fleming. It's about making sure you get to the right play. They've getting their cutters a lot more as this game has gone on. Got to imagine that's got to be something that Coach Shannon Smith is telling her team and her offensive unit. Look for the cutters. Try and find plays off the perimeter, because it seems every single time they've done so, they've found players like Rachel Graff just cutting through the middle. She scored her 1 goal off that. They've scored, right now, half their goals have been scored on free position shots. So if they can find a way to get another free position attempt, that would do them very well, as they are finally getting in those without doing any. They've been more importantly, or most of the time, have been taking just passes attempts off those. Now they're taking shots and they're starting to see the rewards of it as we wait to start up here from the ref. It'll be Carrie Walzer for the Pride who starts up. She fakes a pass, then cuts across the middle. She gets fouled there as she loses it, and she will take it over, but the clock will keep running there as Coach Smith is emphatic about that. Walzer loses it again. She had a chance to start up. She gets tripped up, and we're going to get another card. It's going to be, waiting for what the ref's going to call it. It's going to be...
Looks like it's going to be number 20, Katie Ramsey for USC. Yes, it is.
See what it is. It's going to be a yellow. It's going to be a green card. So Hofstra is going to have 2 minutes here of a man up. So with 22 and a half seconds left, it is coming down to the wire. Walzer will start up off the ref's start. She's got 2 players in her vicinity, in Isabel Vitale and Ella Haney. Both have their sticks up. There's 1 player for Walzer if she wants to take a pass. It looks like it'll be Kendall Smith. She also has Bryn Hepton coming in, but she's being shadowed by Maddie Dora. Walzer normally opts to use her feet, and she's going to find that pass over to Kendall Smith, who then goes over to Trini Reed. So Reed gets over the restricted line. 15 seconds left to play. Lauren Coletti now has it. Over to Graff. Graff to Coletti. Over to West. Hofstra needs something. 10 seconds left. Back behind the net to Manella. Manella has a cutter in Graff. She doesn't find her. And that's 3, 2, and 1. And a just like 2020, USC is going to leave Hempstead with a 9-8 victory over the Hofstra Pride. A game that comes down to the wire, but in the end, the Pride just can't get a shot on goal on their last offensive possession, and they will fall in this one by 1 goal. A very disappointing loss with the opportunities granted. Same thing as we talked about it. Another ranked team comes to play against Hofstra, and they take them down to the wire, as USC just could not pull away from this very, very tentative and very prudent Hofstra Pride team.
And Hofstra, as we said in the pregame, was probably going to play them very close, and it was a very, very tightly contested game. As we just saw, it came right down to the wire there. I was a little bit worried when Hofstra came out of the green card. You had Carrie Walzer out of the timeout. There was the penalty immediately afterwards, and Hofstra bleeded off quite a bit of time there. I think there was about 12 seconds, went from 36 to 22, and that was obviously very unfortunate. Shannon Smith, coach, was unhappy with that being allowed to stay, but unfortunately that's what happened for Hofstra, and they had to rush the green card out of the green card a little bit.
We are going to take one final timeout. When we come back, we will recap the entirety of an exciting afternoon of lacrosse between the USC Trojans and the Hofstra Pride. You're listening to Hofstra Pride Women's Lacrosse, presented by 88.7 FM WRHU and Flow Sports.